Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show. Today is December the 19th, and there are 5 games in the NBA for today. Before we get into today's slate, we'll look back at yesterday's slate. 2-0 day for myself yesterday. A couple things that we talked about on the show were winners, but the ones that I ended up playing was the Pacers. Really like the Pacers in that. What I thought was a letdown spot. Probably should have won the game. Offense just couldn't keep scoring in the fourth quarter, and Jalen Brunson hits a game-winning three-pointer. But we got the plus 4.5. That was a winner. Talked about it on the show. I also talked about first half on the show. Didn't bet the first half, but that was also a winner. And then OKC to lock down defensively. We played the Clippers team total under at the end of the first quarter. The Clippers scored 30 points in the first quarter, and I was like, that's way too many. But I kind of wanted to average in, so I bet half a unit on the team total under, and then for the Clippers. And then if they were going to continue to, if the Thunder defense wasn't going to slow the Clippers down in the first half, then I was going to go to, add again at halftime. But it worked out. So 2-0 day for myself yesterday. Hopefully you guys found a way to make some money as well. Vario says, what up, Chris and chat? Pace is covered. I'm on Isaac Okoro over 7.5 points. Cavs is old team, old building, familiar with the rims. That makes a lot of sense, man. We'll see what the injury report looks like. Good morning, Locks. It's Grand Rising, everyone. Let's eat today. Daniel says, good morning. Wake that ass up. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get to it, man. What's up, Lowe's? Appreciate you for tapping this. It's never wastes money on the Nets again. I thought the Nets were the right side, but then I waited as the day went on because, of course, Norman Powell was listed as questionable. Norman Powell gets ruled in, and I end up staying off to the game. What's up, Justin? Appreciate you for tapping in. As always, good morning, Jordan. It's just let's have a good start to the weekend. Stay blessed. Absolutely. Markel says, I'm hurt by the Pacers money line. Bounce back today. Need it. Yeah, you always got to take the points if they're giving them to you. Good morning for real, says them Clippers banned. They should have been banned. Yeah, positive vibes. I appreciate that, Gilbert. Let's get to it today, man. So first up, we'll start with Jackson. Jackson had a 1-1 split yesterday. Was it a 1-1 split? Yeah. Jackson liked the Knicks minus the 3.5. I told you guys I did not like that one. That was the loser. And Jackson liked the over between the Kings and the Blazers. They got saved by overtime. Over 237.5. I don't think it cashed until actually it might have cashed before overtime actually. But I mean it was a ton of scoring in that game last night. I just didn't know if Sacramento would be able to keep up. So I didn't play the over, but Jackson did give out the over 237.5 yesterday. That game finished with 274 points. So 1-1 day for Jackson yesterday. Today I asked Jackson for the best the going straight back to the same prompt. What is the best total bet in the NBA for today based on situational spots and recent trends in the NBA? Jackson says that it likes the Oklahoma City Thunder minus the 7.5. It says the Oklahoma City Thunder are not just good. They are historically dominant this season. Their advanced metrics suggest they should be laying a larger number, especially in a prime situational spot. So elite dominance, the Thunder rank number 1, of course, in the NBA in nearly every major efficiency metric, including net rating of plus 16.5, point differential of plus 18.3, and defensive rating of 103. Their expected wins, 24.5, are also ranked first in the NBA. Defensive pressure, OKC's defense is suffocating, ranking number 1, ranking first in defensive net rating and first in turnover percentage allowed, 18.6. They thrive on forcing turnovers and converting them into easy points, a style they can quickly turn a style that can quickly turn a close game into a blowout. Timberwolves profile. So while Minnesota is a strong team in net rating of plus 4.4, which ranks 8th, they're facing a team that is operating on a completely different level of efficiency. The Thunder's ability to generate turnovers and score in transition creates a difficult environment for any opponent. So situational spot, this is a classic buy low spot on an elite team, even though the line is significant. Rested and refocused, the Thunder are coming off their longest break of the season and are fresh off a rare loss in the NBA Cup semifinals, which they did play last night, so Jackson may not have been accounting for that. It says this news indicates that the team used their extended rest period to reestablish core principles, review film, and recalibrate rotations. This suggests they will be highly motivated and prepared. So then you got the home court advantage. OKC has been flawless at home, But again, that's not correct either, because this game is not at home. This game is in Minnesota. So take that with a grain of salt. But it says that they've been flawless at home, posting the 12-0 straight up. Their ability to overwhelm opponents with defensive pressure is magnified in their home arena. The line value, last but not least, given the Thunder's plus 16.5 net rating, which projects them at 74.4 wins over the 82 games, laying 7.5 against the laying 7.5 against a good team like the Minnesota is justified. The situational advantage of being rested and coming off a loss makes this the best spread on the board. So a couple of those things aren't true. They aren't coming off a loss. They're coming off a 20-point win last night, and they're not at home. So that's why you do your own research, right? Next one is the total. The Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks under 229.5 here. So this says that we have two slow-paced defensive sounding teams meeting in a high-stakes Eastern Conference rivalry. So slow-pace, both the Knicks and 76ers rank in the bottom third in pace in the league, which limits the total number of point possessions and scoring opportunities. The Knicks play at 99.15 possessions per game, which is 26th. The 76ers rank 19th at 100.5 possessions per game. Defensive efficiency, both teams boast the top half defense, making it difficult for opponents to score efficiently. The Knicks are 12th in defensive rating. The 76ers are 13th in defensive rating. Points allowed per 100 possessions. Points per possession allowed. Both teams are excellent at limiting scoring opportunities. The Knicks rank 15th and the 76ers rank 13th in points allowed. So then you got the situational spot. I'm not reading all this, but the rivalry game intensity, Knicks offensive profile, the line value, all like the under. So that's the look for Jackson for today, man. Under in the Knicks in the 76ers game at under 229, and then OKC minus the 7.5, which I kind of feel like when I was looking this morning, the 7.5s were gone. I mean, you'll get a 7.5 if Anthony Edwards comes back, but we shall see. Looks like 7.5 is available on DraftKings. It's 8 pretty much everywhere else. BetMGM also got 7.5. Fanatics does as well. All right, let's jump into the matchups for today, man. So first up, we got the Heat and the Boston Celtics. Of course, the Miami Heat are playing on the second leg of a back-to-back from Brooklyn after last night's win and cover. So we don't know for sure who's going to be on the injury report. They can submit it late. Yesterday, they were without Tyler Hero. They were without Jovic. And I think Larson also didn't play in that game. So Norman Powell did come back. He had a pretty good game last night. We'll see if he plays on the second leg of a back-to-back. I would think that he would. On the Celtics side of things, this is a super rested team. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're coming off back-to-back losses, back-to-back non-covers as well. And remember, I said this before the break. I said that, you know, the break could have came at the wrong time for the Celtics. They were really picking up some momentum. They had won 5 in a row. They had covered 8 games in a row, and then they lose back-to-back games. This is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got another meeting with Toronto, which they just played right before the break. Just going through the game, looking at the game last night, it's kind of difficult. I wanted to make sure everybody's in for Miami. I don't want to lay this big of a number with Boston. This line did open up at 5, and early money has come in on Boston. It's pushed it up to 6.5. I don't know. I guess I kind of want to see it with Boston. I also kind of feel like if you want Boston, you want them early. I know Miami had been a really good first half team, but Boston just runs out of gas for whatever reason. Miami Heat also have struggled to close out games as well. So I kind of feel like Boston early. They are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games, but they can't, like I said, they just can't seem to close games. They had a lead against Detroit in that last game, and I can't remember who they played before that, but they had a lead in that game as well, and they ended up losing that game. Oh, against the Milwaukee Bucks. That was the first game back after the break. They just went cold in the second half. Meanwhile, last 5 games for Miami, they just 1-4 against the spread. So, you know, a team that we've known to play well in the first half has not played that well in the first half as of late. Boston coming off, you know, should be a little motivated coming off back-to-back losses in this game. I probably would look at Boston early. But I think Miami, you know, here's the other thing with this game, the pace, right? So these games always kind of trip me up, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So the pace and defense, like it really messes things up in this one. Boston is the second slowest paced team in the NBA. Miami still plays at the fastest pace. I know that game last night was against Brooklyn. Brooklyn probably dictated pace a little bit more. If Boston dictates pace, then we'll see a slower pace game in this one. Miami's also the 3rd best defensive rated team. and Boston's a top 5 offensive rated team. So something's gonna have to give. I don't necessarily put that much stock into, second leg of back-to-back for Miami, just because both, like, it's not any of these, none of these teams are playing, 4th and 6th or, 5th and 7th. Like, it's a pretty short travel from Brooklyn to Boston as well. So I kind of want to take the points with Miami. I kind of want to find a way to play up Miami. When I was looking into the advanced numbers, and I'm probably talking too much now, but when I was looking into the advanced numbers last night, Boston's a team that we know just want to shoot a bunch of threes. They're number one, I think, in 3-point frequency. Miami is weird because, like, they give up a ton of threes. I think they give up like the second most threes, but teams shoot the second worst 3-point percentage against them. Only team that is worse, that allows a worse percentage from the 3-point line. So the only better 3-point defense is what I'm trying to say is the Dallas Mavericks, which they held Duncan Robinson under. We talked about his points yesterday. I know he got hurt, played 13 minutes, but he was 0 for 7, I think, in that game, 0 for 5 from the 3-point line yesterday. So Dallas is a really good 3-point defense. Miami, I'm not sure how. They're a really good 3-point defense as well. So we'll see. I don't want to put too much stock into the second leg of a back-to-back. That's my thought process here. Let's see. What's up? Legacy says, I'm burnt out on player props. Need a sharp side of total bet to get right today. Yeah, hopefully we can find one. What's up, Ness Bet? Hope all is well with you, bro. He says, hope all is well. Ray, I'm up this early for a live show. I appreciate you tapping in. He says, interesting card today, but only one play for me. Mark joined as a member. Appreciate you, Mark. Adam says, morning. What up, Adam? Jaylen Brown, 30 points until it doesn't cash. He has been cooking. Jaylen Brown's been absolutely cooking. I looked at the matchup in this one. It's not extremely bad, but yeah, Jaylen Brown has been absolutely cooking for sure. They probably put Davion Mitchell on him, I'm guessing. Real quick, if we just, because I did look into this as well. I think we talked about it in the last game. Matter of fact, we called all the player props right in the last game. Boston versus who were they playing against? Versus whoever they were playing against in their last game. I can figure it out right now, matter of fact. Yeah, until it doesn't cash, like Adam says. 5 straight games he's gone over. Now, granted, 30 and 30 and 30, so he's barely over the number. 34 in that last game. It was against Detroit, yeah. We called this right. We called Derek White threes right. We got a lot right. I was also looking at Kata under his points and rebounds. That cashed. So, yeah, you expect the minutes to be there. Jaylen Brown's been super efficient, 50% from the field, 38% from the 3-point line in his last 10 games. I'm pretty sure if we look at last 5, those numbers get better. Yeah, 54% and 42%. So he has been cooking. First game so far this season. You can see that they played twice last season. Of course, these games probably had Jason Tatum in them, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. The usage just continues to be there for Jaylen Brown. So maybe a look towards Jaylen Brown. I couldn't talk you off of that, Adam. Could not talk you off of that at all. All right, let's keep moving. Dimes does like the first half. Says Celtics early. Makes a ton of sense to me. For real, since he'll go Heat plus 6.5. Celtics fronting it back to back. Bam over his points, rebounds, and assist should be another great play. I didn't look into Bam. I kind of that's interesting that you said Bam. I kind of want to look in and check Bam out because he was the one guy I was struggling to find player props in this game. I'm gonna write Bam's name down. I like that though, for real. I think the Heat are live to cover this game for sure. Good morning, Lightbearer. Legacy says, I kind of like the total to go under here. Feel like Boston would dictate the pace of this game. And I kind of agree with that. It's ugly and scary to take unders, but this total does seem a tad bit too high. Miami is 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games. 8-2 to the under, third best defensive rated team. Celtics played the second slowest pace in the NBA. It did, like, under was on my list too. That's the way I'm thinking too, Legacy. But wait for the injury report. Like Rick says, he says, if Heroes play it, I'm taking Boston. Heroes out. We don't know yet. He could potentially return for this game. Probably Jay says Peyton Pritchard under his 3.5 threes. I could definitely see that cashing as well. This Heat defense is pretty good against the 3-point shot. All right, next one up is the 76ers and the Knicks. So line opened 5.5 yesterday. I think it was pushing back to 5.5 this morning. Yeah, 5.5 is available on DraftKings, 4.5 on BetMGM. So you can kind of get 5s, 5.5s now. So Maxi's off the injury report. We know he was sick a couple games before. they had the layover, and the Embiid also is listed as questionable for this game. You got to wait on the injury report for the New York Knicks, but as projected, they were missing a couple guys yesterday. Josh Hart didn't play in that game. Karl Anthony Towns didn't play. No Miles McBride, no Landry Shamet as well. Mitchell Robinson was also out. So we'll see how that affects the game for today. I was reading about this game, and Mike Brown, coach of the New York Knicks, was really kind of adamant about how he felt like they were kind of getting punished. The quote actually says, somehow, some way, they got to look at these. They got to look at the back end of the schedule for anybody who is in the NBA Cup Finals, because it's almost like you get penalized for winning it schedule-wise. We've talked about it all year, how the games are so close now, but you get penalized for winning the Cup. And he was talking about the hectic schedule. I think if you play in this game, you got to look towards Philly. I know that the Knicks have been absolutely dynamite at the crib. They are 13-1 straight up, 13-1 against the spread. But this is second leg of back-to-back. It's a road home back-to-back, third game in 4 nights after the Cup. And they could potentially be shorthanded again. I'm highly, I'm just speculative, but I highly, would think that Karl Anthony Towns probably not gonna play in this game. And if him and Mitchell Robinson don't play, that's gonna, open up the rebounding advantage for Philly in this game with Drummond, and we'll see if Embiid plays. I would think that Embiid plays, but you always kind of, just guessing with Embiid. But Philly's been really good on the road as well. They're 6-4 straight up on the road, 8-1-1 against the number on the road. This is the first leg of a back-to-back for them. They got the Dallas Mavericks back in Philly tomorrow. But the Philadelphia 76ers have been one of the best ATS teams. 8-1-1 probably is the best ATS team in the NBA on the road. So I like Philly in this spot. I know it's difficult, like I said, to fade the Knicks at home. But if I'm getting 5.5, 5 points, I think Philly can keep the game close in this one. This is a 4 days of rest to 0 day of rest advantage spot. That's just the way I think about the game. Let's see. I want to give you guys the net rating. So on the road, the Philadelphia 76ers are 6 in efficiency differential. So they average 117. They have a 117 offensive rating and a 113 defensive rating. The defensive rating is actually 5th best on the road, and then overall, like I said, they're 6th best so far this season. So yeah, I like Philly in this game. If I'm betting it. They also lost their last game against Atlanta as well, but they covered. They were on the road and they covered. Yeah, they've covered a lot of games on the road. So yeah, that's my thought process in this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. I didn't even think about the total in this one, just because I don't know who's gonna play. So we shall see. My God, what up, Finesse? Hope all is well, bro. Hope fatherhood as well. He likes Wiggins over 12.5 points and likes him to go for 20 at plus 450 in that game. Wow, okay. I'm missing something. I got to figure that one out. But that's like Wiggins to get 20. Okay. Against the Boston Celtics today. We will talk about, I got to look into that. Gilbert says this might be an under game. Justin says he'll take the 76ers team total over 112.5. Put that in his pocket. The Indiana Pacers were over their team total last night. It was 110.5. And I thought about that as well. Knicks letdown spot. This should be the letdown spot after losing last night. Is Maxey on a minutes restriction? His line is suspiciously low. I didn't see anything about Maxey being on a minutes restriction at all. If anything, Maxey should be well rested. He's off the injury report. His points is 27.5. Last game against the Lakers, his line was at 27.5. So it's not suspiciously low. 30.5 against the Bucks. 27.5 against the Warriors. So it's kind of fluctuated between those two lines. Knicks are, one of the slower paced teams in the NBA, third best defense in the NBA. I'm sorry, first best as far as points allowed, to the point guard position. So maybe that's why his line is a little low. 27.5, it looks like his consensus, and it is 26.5, but it's juiced to the over on every single book. So I don't know. Maybe that's with Embiid and Paul George back. Paul George been actually playing some really good basketball as well. We got to keep that in mind. In games with both Paul George and Embiid on the floor this season, Maxey's had 44 and 28 against the Hawks and the Lakers, two fast-paced teams, and two teams that don't play as much defense as well. So, all right, that's that. Let's see. Legacy says, what are your thoughts on Philly first quarter or first half, Chris, being that they are the more rested team? Well, typically, the more rest, the longer the game goes on, the more it favors them, right? So that would say Philly early. That would say Philly later. But Philly has been a much better first half team. They're another team that really struggles to close out games at times. If we just look at their ATS numbers, they are Philly is 15-9-1 against the spread in the first half. And if they're playing on the first leg of a back-to-back, they're perfect 5-0 in the first half, 3-2 as a road dog in the first half as well. But the Knicks have been solid, man. 8-5 in the first half at home specifically. If they're playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, just 2-2. So not a lot to go with there. But yeah, I couldn't talk you off Philly early. Boogie says definitely lean Philly. Knicks had to fight for that comeback last night. That's another big thing as well. Vanessa's Maxey's line is telling you Embiid is playing. That's a fact. I think so too. I agree with that. Dom says Knicks team total under was good to me last night. We'll probably go back to it tonight under 117.5. John, sorry, we don't know, man. We do not know. We'll see if he comes back. We shall see. All right, let's move to the next one. We got the Bulls and the Cavs. Line in this one, interestingly enough, open with the Cavs laying 6.5. And it was the reason why I say interesting is because it's up to 7.5 now. And Donovan Mitchell is listed as questionable. What an illness of all things. I mean, he looked sick in the last game. He was out there getting up all them shots. But anyway, on the Chicago side of things, Zach Collins is listed as probable. Ayo Dosunmu is also listed as questionable. Of course, he didn't play in that last game. Told you guys I thought he wasn't going to play just because he had both of his thumbs taped. And then Trey Jones of the Chicago Bulls is also listed as questionable in this game as well. On the Cleveland side of things, I just mentioned Donovan Mitchell, but outside of Donovan Mitchell, there's still no Sam Merrill, there's still no Evan Mobley, there's still no Max Strus, there's still no Larry Nance Jr. And it's interesting that the spread is moving to 7.5. I know Chicago has not been as great on the road, and they've been really bad overall, but I don't think I'm laying points with Cleveland right now. Chicago, of course, these two teams just played on Wednesday. Chicago lost that game. Chicago won that game, smoked Cleveland Cavaliers in that game. They're only 5-8 against the spread on the road. They're only 3-7 against the spread in their last 10. But I mean, if you're picking the better of the two evils, Cleveland is 4-12 against the spread at home, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're not right. They're not whole. Without Evan Mobley, I think they're just going to continue to struggle. I don't think that they're going to be anybody by margin anytime soon. So, by default, I think you got to look towards Chicago just because they're getting more points. They're getting so many points. I know Cleveland had a big win in the cover against San Antonio before losing the game outright to Golden State. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. But outside of that, like this Cleveland team has been really, really bad, man. They're going to have to show me before I want to put money on Cleveland. So by default, it'd be Chicago plus the points. We cashed on Kobe White over his 20. Well, we talked about Kobe White over his 21.5 points. He finished with 25 the other day. Like, I just think that, the way Cleveland plays, they may even have more talent. Garland is healthy. Garland is not healthy. He's playing through injury. Like, yeah, Chicago plus the points for me in this game. I also consider Jared Allen under his rebound prop. The number is getting a little bit more juice now. A lot of this just comes from, like, them not, like, the Cavs are, like, one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. It's hard to get rebounds when you're not playing defense. So we just come back over the outlier really quickly. This is Jared Allen. So Jared Allen rebounds is 9.5. It's juiced to the under. They actually got it down to 8.5. This might not be bad. So, like, you can see that he's really struggled, right? He's only averaging 6.4 rebounds over his last 10 games. He's only averaging 12 rebound chances. This is the number that stood out to me here. These 12.5 rebound chances. So He's averaging 12 and a half rebound chances over his last 8 games and 10 games. In games where Jared Allen has 13 rebound chances or less, so when he hasn't gotten to 14 rebound chances, he's actually under in 13 of his 17 games this season. Now, the problem with that is Chicago is not a great rebounding team. You can see that they give up the 6th most rebounds here. But the Cavs just aren't playing defense. It's hard to get rebounds when you're not playing defense. I don't expect the Cavs to come in here, lock down, play defense. Not with the pace that I'm expecting to be in this game. If Chicago doesn't have some kind of, terrible variance game because they absolutely can. We saw this against the Pelicans where they scored 104 points against the Pelicans defense at home. I think they shot like 19% from the 3-point line. If that doesn't happen, I think Jared Allen will stay under his boards in this game. The easy play would be, probably going back to Giddey for another triple-double or looking at his assists over. I talked about liking Dean Wade over his 5.5 points. It is juiced to the over now. I think eventually he's going to have to step up and play better. DeAndre Hunter has continuously gone under his player prop as well. So I think Dean Wade, just because I think the minutes will be there, I think he's played 20+ in both of the last couple games, and I like him. I know he hasn't been playing well, but I do think Dean Wade back at home makes the most sense on a super short line. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Vanessa says Art got a sprained thumb. Oh, man, that's crazy. Ness is Bulls plus 230. Play of the day. Had the Bulls outright on Wednesday. Also, minus 12.5 at plus 410. Said Giddey was a matchup problem for Cleveland. Undersized guards, 23, 11, and 11, I think. 31 points per game. Sits with Mobley and be the key here. And their bench is not good. I agree with that. 3 and 7 straight up. Last 10, 3 and 6 straight up. Last 9 is a favorite. I agree with it all. I'm just curious, like who at this point, knowing how bad Cleveland is continuing to put, like, who would push this line from 6.5 to 7.5? If Donovan Mitchell's ruled in, you'll get a better number, in my opinion, with Cleveland. I'm with Chicago, and that's the only reason I haven't played it yet. So we'll see if he plays, but I think Donovan Mitchell, I guess he'll play. But yeah, I can't bet Cleveland right now at all. Let's see. Not betting anything in this game. Justin says LJ likes the Bulls plus the 7.5. Says fade the Cavs coming home off a road game. Cavs sucks. Bull plus 7.5. No brainer. Cleveland is broken. Finesse says he does think it goes over the 240.5 though. That's so crazy that they haven't, though. I guess people like us that, look at these lines every single day are like, how could you make the Cavs a favorite? Like, I get it. It's a nice little bounce back spot. Like, quick revenge too, right? The Cavs this season, the Cavaliers this season are 8-20 against the number. So if you've just faded them every single game, you've won 71.4% of your bets. And that's enough to, if your unit size is where it needs to be, that's enough to retire after a couple of years. 71%. Yeah. And then if you just look at them, if they're a home favorite laying points, 4-11 against the number, which is also 73.3% as well. So they've been a home favorite 15 times. They've covered just 4 numbers, and they've won by an average of 2 points. Yeah, they're also 11-4 to the under in these spots. Their offense, we talked about this a lot. They just can't score the basketball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of the 15 games they stay under their team total. They're averaging 228 points in these games as a home favorite. If the total is greater than 235, they are averaging 230, 4-3 to the under, 1-6 against the number. Cavs, that's not a good spot for them. Adam says he likes Tyson over his points and assists, anticipating Spider is out. He should score 25 points without Mitchell. That's true if you think he's going to be out. Absolutely. All right, let's keep it moving. Vooch will be taking him away from the basket too. I thought about that. I didn't write it down for that. You're right. A lot of made shots. Yeah, I agree with that. Number is screaming. I don't understand it, but I am seeing it too. I'm not playing first quarter. Jojo, I wouldn't play anything unless I know if Donovan Mitchell's going to play. Donovan Mitchell doesn't play, I think the game goes under. I just look at Cleveland. They just don't have a lot of scoring. Garland is compromised. Evan Mobley's out. No Max Strus. Like I don't really want to be out there relying on DeAndre Hunter right now to be my second guy. Chicago's not good defensively either. So I don't know, man. Boston, I think Cavs should be favored, but not by this much. I'm with Finesse though. I like the over. Okay. What up, Free Sauce? Yeah, that's a fact. Appreciate you for tapping in, Free Sauce, as always, bro. Hope all is well with you. HX says if they just randomly move the Bulls to favorite, many people would take the Cavs heavily, and they should be the right half this time. We shall see, man. We shall see. I haven't bet the game yet, but Jared Allen under his boards, and I'll wait and see what happens with everything else. But it's Bulls or nothing for me. I'm not messing with Cleveland right now. Spurs and Hawks, probably the most interesting game of the day. So line was at 1.5 when it opened yesterday, and I saw this start to get beat up to 2, and then it went to 2.5, and then it stopped. Then it came back down to 2 this morning when I woke up, and now it's at 2.5, 3. So money continuing to come in on San Antonio in this spot. Interesting game, man. So San Antonio, both of these teams can submit their injury report late. Both played last night. San Antonio ended up smacking the Wizards up, beat them by 25, and that was at home. So short travel from San Antonio to Atlanta. And then Atlanta, of course, was in Charlotte last night. So short travel from Charlotte to Atlanta as well. Atlanta, got Trae Young back in that game yesterday and found themselves down, 25 points to the Charlotte Hornets in the first half. And that's what Atlanta does when they're a favorite. They don't cover numbers. Sometimes they don't even win games. But Atlanta as a dog, especially at home, is typically where you want to bet on them. So I wasn't quick to run to the window with San Antonio in this game. Wemby, we'll see if he plays, the second leg of a back-to-back. He didn't play many minutes last night because of the blowout. Matter of fact, I wrote in my notes, San Antonio played versus Washington, and it was a 25-point blowout. No starter played more than 26 minutes. Meanwhile, Trae Young probably won't play on the second leg of a back-to-back as well. Jalen Johnson played 39 minutes last night. Now, he's a young Thundercat. He can play in second leg of back-to-backs, but he did play 39 minutes. I think that was interesting to note. And 36 minutes for Yeko Okongwu. Dyson Daniels played 32, et cetera, et cetera. What's interesting is outside of playing those big minutes, Atlanta also clawed all the way back in that game yesterday. They were down more than 20, and they came back, got it within 1. And then still end up losing the game. So it's almost like you played 2 games yesterday. Like Atlanta got smoked in the first one, wasn't playing with that much energy and effort. Then they come home and, then they come back in the second half. And like I said, they got it, I think, to 1. And then this couldn't stop. Like it's too much effort put into it. And then you couldn't finish last night. So I looked at the Spurs. This is not a great team on the road, and we'll see what happens with Wemby. He didn't start last night. They're still starting Cornette at the center position. The Spurs are only 5-7-1 against the spread on the road. Atlanta 4-7 at home. This is, like I said, second leg of back-to-back. I feel like, so if we just go to, shout out to my guy RC. I'm gonna show you guys. I haven't brought this up yet today, but I want you guys to look at the money baller for this game specifically. So if we go to the matchup, San Antonio, Atlanta, you can see all the situational stuff. Also 3rd and 4, we got to remember San Antonio was in the cup game against the Knicks the other day too. So it is second leg of back-to-back, but 3rd and 4. Atlanta got in-season revenge because they can never beat the Spurs. Spurs have actually beaten them 3 straight times, beat them both games last season, and beat them already one time this season in that 135-126 game, which is right here. Of course, that one went over the total, and that game was in San Antonio. So a lot of systems on the over. Well, not a lot of systems, but this system is on the over. It says over on unrested non-conference teams off a short homestand, which that was for San Antonio in this spot. So I'm looking at the numbers. We can see San Antonio is, and it's hard to kind of gauge San Antonio because now they're healthier than they've been for the whole season. But overall numbers, I want to see Atlanta specifically. So Atlanta right here, 16-1-1 in the first half, 14-14 against the number as a home dog, 4-2. First half, 4-2 as well. Second leg of back-to-backs, they've been good. Not great, but 4-3. And then the Spurs on the second leg of back-to-backs, also 4-0 first half, 3-1 for the full game. But as a road favorite, as you can see right here, they have not covered a lot of these games. I remember we were on San Antonio against the Pelicans early this season. This was that one win that they won and covered. We think we took a -4.5. They won the game by like 5 or 6, and this was the game that Wemby fouled out. I do remember that. What I like in the game ultimately though is I think it's an over game. Like you see the Spurs 5-0 to the over if they are road favorites. The Hawks don't play a lot of defense. They will be shorthanded without Porzingis again tonight as well. 4-2 to the over. I think we see points, man. I agree with the total going up. It was at 239.5 last night. It's up. It looks like it's dropping back down now to 240.5. A 240 is available on Circa and Superbook, but it's up to 241.5 on a couple books. I just think we see points. I think Atlanta as a dog is a team that scores. You can see Atlanta team total here. So as a home dog, they're 4-2 to the team total over. Spurs is a road favorite, 5-0. I think this game we play with a lot of pace. We know San Antonio likes to get out and run. Atlanta loves to get out and run. Non-conference game, Friday night in Atlanta. To me, over makes a lot of sense. That's the way that I would play this game and probably stay away from the side. Let's see what you guys are thinking here before we move on. Pre-sauce says Trey looked horrible yesterday. He did get 10 assists, but defensively, Trey's never been that great. And it was his first game back after like probably a month. So you gotta give him a little bit of slack, Pre-sauce. He was playing against Charlotte too, though. Charlotte's not a great defensive team. Nesbitt says Spurs feel a little too easy for me here, to be honest. Last meeting I was interested. Justin says my Hawks are cheeks. Only as favorites, Justin. Only as favorites. I'm always suspicious of Hawks laying points. We talk about this all the time. Hawks is a favorite this season are 5-9 against the number. 5-9 against the number out of Hawks. They cover 35% of the time. You don't really want them. They covered against the Wizards, but remember they also lost to the Wizards outright. Got smoked in that game, 132 to 113. Now as a dog, that's where you kind of get interested. Hawks are 9-5 against the number as a dog, so completely reverse, right? Same 9-5 record, 5-9 record. So yeah, Hawks over would be the play that I want to bet. LJ agrees. He says over 241.5. Take the over off a Hawks loss. 7-5 to the over if the Hawks are coming off a loss. I like it, LJ. Jojo says Jalen's a beast. I agree with that. Freesauce says Onyeka Okongwu over 2.5 assists, over in 4 of his last 5, averaging 4 assists on back-to-back games. Dylan Harper been cashing. Yeah, he cashed last night. He played really well. Definitely a cheat code. Link is in the description if you guys are interested in checking out Moneyballer. Jalen Johnson over 17.5 rebounds and assists, -130. And now if Trae Young's not going to play, I love it. I do love it. I think this is a good one. And we talked about his assist line being too low because Trae Young was coming back and Trae was only going to play, probably 20-ish minutes. And that's what happened. He did go over his assist prop last night. Vaughn said love the over in this spot. Not finished digging into the player props yet, but I'm starting with Jalen Johnson. He's who we wanted Ben Simmons to be. Okay. I might just ask my Hawks to score 120 points. Okay, so thinking that, just them specifically. Yeah, I'm glad you cashed it, man. Glad you cashed it. I like Kawhi and his points last night too. All right, next game up, Thunder and the Timberwolves. Then we got one. No, this is actually the last game. So let's get through this one. So Thunder Timberwolves, 7.5 the number. It looks like it is being pushed to 8. Total is only going up. It opened 225.5 last night is what I wrote down in my notes. It's all the way up to 230.5 now. So on the injury report for the Oklahoma City side of things, they can submit late. Yesterday they were without Jalen Williams, big Jalen Williams, and Isaiah Hartenstein was out as well. And then on the Minnesota side of things, Anthony Edwards has missed the last couple games. He's listed as questionable, which, they always got to play around, right? They're never going to tell exactly who's going to be playing in these games. And then Mike Conley continues to be out for the Minnesota side of things. Now, this is a game where another team, right, that kind of Minnesota is like the Western Conference version of the Atlanta Hawks. And when I say that, because if you look at the Timberwolves, as a favorite this season. Just 8-14 against the number. They covered 36% of the time. If you look at them as a dog, still not too super great, but they are 2-3 against the number. They tend to play a lot better in these games, especially recently. Last 2 times that they were a dog, when they're a dog and not playing against the Nuggets, they typically play well. They lost both games, didn't cover either spread against the Nuggets. And then that Knicks game, I don't fault them too much because that was Anthony Edwards' first game back when he was dealing with an injury, coming back after he had missed a few games in a row. But they just covered against the Thunder. They were getting 10.5 points in OKC. This was the Cup game on the day before Thanksgiving. Yeah, day before Thanksgiving. And then they, of course, covered and beat the Warriors outright. Now, this is a whole different juggernaut, this Thunder team, which is why if I'm betting this game, I don't like what I'm seeing from Minnesota in that I watched that last game pretty closely against the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis really came in there and got whatever it is that they wanted. We got an OKC team that, of course, does not play as well when they're not playing at OKC. That's the only knock that I have for this team. They're on the second leg of back-to-back with travel, but OKC to Minnesota is a very short flight. 7-6 against the number on the road so far this season for OKC, so they've been going back and forth whether they cover or not. Minnesota is 5-9 against the spread at home in general, and just 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 games. This is playoff revenge. Another thing we got to consider: Timberwolves, of course, were just manhandled by OKC. I would argue that OKC is better this year, and that Minnesota is not as good as they were last year. So I say all that to say it's tough to make this bet, in my opinion, because Minnesota has been pretty good. As a dog, in my opinion, I view them as a team I want to buy on as a dog. But if I'm betting the game, I'm betting OKC. That's what it comes down to me. I think watching who was it? It was Jock Landale. Last game. I think he had four or five threes in that game. Just bring Rudy Gobert out to the 3-point line. You pretty much can get whatever it is that you want against this Minnesota team. We'll see if Anthony Edwards plays. If he does, this line will go down. I think OKC even unrested on the second leg of a back-to-back. I mean, SGA didn't have to play the fourth quarter last night. A lot of their starters were out. They put the reserves in the game late outside of Case and Wallace. I watched that game to the end last night because we had the team total under for the Clippers. And I just think Thunder, a much more professional team. You could say that last game for Minnesota was a look-ahead spot because they knew they had the Thunder coming, which is why they, just kind of didn't show up. But if Mike Conley's out, that's a big part of it as well. Mike Conley out, you give him more minutes to Bones Highland. And Bones Highland looked god-awful in that last game. I'm not a big Bones Highland guy. I used to be. Now he's a defensive liability. He really can't shoot the ball that well either. You really just kind of need him to get hot. And, I guess it could happen. Minnesota is a great they're a pretty good 3-point shooting team, and that is the spot that you can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder at. So if you like Minnesota, you definitely want them to be able to get hot from the 3-point line. I consider Naz Reid threes. That is on the short list as well. I think just the way that he shoots the corner three, if Anthony Edwards doesn't play, I expect his usage to be up, and he's also been pretty good from the 3-point line as of late. So I'll pull that up real quick, and then we'll get into a quick recap. I do want to show you guys why I was looking at Naz Reid. So, and we'll see what happens with Anthony Edwards. I do think this is one where, you don't have to wait. You can do whatever it is you want to do with your money, but I'm waiting to see if he plays in this game before I bet it. So Naz Reid over his 1.5 threes is super juice. You don't really want to play this, but I like Naz to hit 3 threes. So you can see he's just been knocking down threes in general. So over his last 10 games, he's hit 3 or more in 7 games. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he has 2+ in these games here. But the two over 1.5 was super juice, like -155, and I don't really like that. So you can see the the Oklahoma City Thunder, 8th worst as far as three-pointers allowed. In the head-to-head matchup earlier this season, he hit 2 in this game. He shot 2 for 5, and I just think that he's going to be able to continue to get the looks up. If we just go back to this season real quick and we look at his 3-point attempts, we can see the numbers up, right? 11 threes in this game, 7, 10, 8, 9, 8, especially these last few games. So I like Naz Reid. I like the read on Naz Reid over his 3-point props. The read on Naz Reid over his 3-point prop. It just makes a ton of sense in my opinion. So this is what I considered if I'm betting a player prop, but I do think that OKC can get the win and cover the number, even on the road. I feel like Minnesota might be a public dog in this spot, but I'll be looking at OKC. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and we'll get into a quick recap. LJ says OKC first half, 7-2 against the number in the first half, off a first half loss, and they did not cover in the first half last night. Okay, I like that, LJ. I could definitely see OKC coming out. Minnesota's been, pretty poor in the first half. I feel like as a dog, they changed their role and they play a little bit better. But Minnesota has been poor in the first half. Real quick, just to put some numbers to that, Minnesota in the first half specifically, I'm going to Moneyballer. Minnesota is 9-18 in the first half. That's 33% so far this season. But again, I didn't even know this, but as a home dog, 2-0 against the number. 2-0 as a home dog in the first half. 9-18 completely though. If they have the rest advantage, 2-6 against the number in the first half. The Thunder are 16-9-1 in the first half. Overall, 8-5 if they're a road favorite. So, yeah, take all that. I also kind of feel like the game goes. I kind of feel like it goes under. I know the money's pushing it to the over, but we'll see. I guess that means Anthony Edwards probably going to play because this total wouldn't be going up if Anthony Edwards wasn't going to play. So, I guess I should probably try to find a 7.5 now too. I see it on BetMGM. Maybe I'll play it early. If we think Anthony Edwards should come back for this game, I think. Let's see. It was injury management last game, so it's foot. This could be his fourth consecutive game due to a lingering foot injury. Yeah, we'll see. Fox under is 20.5 points, Gilbert says. I was thinking, Gilbert, actually, I'm glad you mentioned this because now I didn't write this down. I think I was thinking about this morning. And I don't even know what the line is. I was thinking potentially Fox under his assist prop. I just kind of feel like because they have all the guards back, like this could be a game where he didn't do a lot last night. Because they were playing against the Wizards for one, but his assist prop is at 5.5, and it's juiced to the under. So the books have already caught on to this. Fox had 3 assists last night. He had 4 against OKC, 3 against the Lakers. I just kind of feel like since they have all their guards back, so you got Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Wemby's a playmaker as well. I just kind of feel like Fox won't need to distribute the ball as much. Let's see if I'm right. All right. So games with Castle and Harper, Fox is averaging just 8.7 potential assists. If he has less than 9 potential assists in a game, it's only happened twice. He's under in both games. He had 3 against the Lakers and 4 against OKC. So I kind of agree with this. I kind of feel like Castle's clearly the point guard. Fox is more like a shooting guard now. Not that he can't get others involved, but Dylan Harper. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. You said points. I think assists. She says Jalen Johnson triple-double. Timberwolves plus 8.5. Justin loved the Timberwolves, man. Don't let me talk you off, Justin. I'm not on the other side. But I probably will be. We'll probably be head-to-head today. If Ant plays, they got to go with the Timberwolves at home primetime game. Ant rebounds is way too low. I'm taking them for 6+. Wolves are not good in the first half. Agree with that. LJ Lowe says Thunder -8 at home of disappointment, a.k.a. the Target Center. The Target Center is actually a really nice arena, though. I remember going a couple years ago for my birthday to watch the Lakers play against Ant. This is when they still had Cat. And Rudy Gobert had 20 and 20 in that game because Anthony Day-to-Day Davis didn't play, and I didn't get the notification until maybe 30 minutes before the game that he wasn't going to play, and we got smoked. The Timberwolves smacked us. I remember that on my birthday 2 years ago. Target Center is nice though. It was a pretty friendly environment too. There's a couple people there buying us drinks. We told him we was visiting from Virginia. He looked out. Nas Reed over his 5.5 boards. Bones Hollins of Walmart. Jordan Clarkson not compliment. All right, it's time to get off of here, man. That's funny. I like that. Dom says he goes first half minus the 4.5. Jay Carter says appreciate that Pacers +5 yesterday. I went heavy on it. I'm glad you cashed it, man. I needed that yesterday too, because it had been I think back-to-back losing days. After I think we had 2 winning days in a row and then back-to-back losing days. So nice 2-0 day yesterday. I needed that. I needed all that yesterday. All right, that's the card for today. I've been on here for way too long, just rambling, chatting. Appreciate y'all in the comment section though for making the show what it is, man. Recap. Philly, only way I'm looking to bet them is plus the points, man. I think it was a 5.5 available. I think it may be gone now. It popped up while we were doing the show. Yeah, it's coming down now. So money is actually coming in live on Philly in this spot. I do think that they are the right side. Philly, Miami, Boston, probably will wait for the injury report in that one. Kind of want to take Miami plus the points, thinking they can keep it close. Boston just to blow somebody out right now has not been happening, man. Like, I don't think they win this game by 7, even with Miami on the second leg of a back-to-back. So probably Miami plus the points. Atlanta and San Antonio, I told you guys, over for me is the way I would play that. It is 240.5 on Caesars with no juice right now. You can get a flat minus 110. Chicago, Cleveland by default would be Chicago plus the points. But see what happens with Spider. And then, I think you can get Minnesota minus 7.5 right now too. But we'll see. I'm sorry, OKC minus 7.5. But we'll see what happens with Anthony Edwards, and then I'll make up my mind. I do like the Nas Reed threes look as well. But as of now, I have not bet anything. The plays that I do make, I will send them out to you guys, send them out to the members when I do end up making them. That's the show for today, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. The resources, as always, are linked in the description of the videos if you guys are interested in checking them out. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, and Odds Jam. And that's it, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's see. Tomorrow we have a ton of games. It looks like 10 games tomorrow. So I got a Christmas party tomorrow as well. So I got to figure out. I'll probably do the show early tomorrow or maybe even later tonight. We'll see. All of the games are early games today too. Minnesota OKC is the only 9:40 game. So I think Anthony Edwards definitely playing now. I'll figure out when I'm gonna go live. But I know it's gonna be busy, so I got to start handicapping these games for tomorrow now. It's about to get real hectic. But that's the show for today, man. Best of luck on your action. I do appreciate you all for tapping in, and I will catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out. Enjoy your Friday.